So, unravelling critical mineral potential at Equinox Resources. So, Equinox Resources is a global, diverse exploration play at the moment. We have several commodities in our mix. We have our flagship Hammersley Iron Ore project situated in the Pilbara, infrastructure-rich region of Western Australia, where we have a JORC-compliant resource of 108.5 million tonnes at 58% Fe iron at a direct shipping component. We've got two major projects in Brazil from grassroots staking, following the geology and doing our homework with our team, and staking two great projects there. And then late last year we acquired the Alps Altruist project, which is the world's highest grade antimony mineralisation that we've seen. Today I'm going to focus on our titanium project as well as our antimony projects, because this slide deck is 40 odd slides long. It's a bit about the corporate overview. Our capital structure, 123.9 million shares on issue, share price 11 cents. We got up to 40 cents, but we had an adverse decision on our Hammersley Iron Ore project, which ended up getting us down to these levels, and we're trying to claw back up. Market cap probably 13 million today, and cash on hand last quarter was 2.2 million. A bit about myself: over 25 years experience in mining and mineral processing. Spent several decades at BHP, General Manager of Operations, then worked at Fortescue, and various other mining operations throughout Australia, and then also worked in Sweden, Africa, Brazil, and various other jurisdictions. Skip through our Hammersley Iron Ore project, our rare earth project in Brazil, and touch on our Matiacorda heavy mineral sands projects. Somewhat unique geology. Normally when you have heavy mineral sands, it comes from a beach sand kind of component that you see, but the geology here is somewhat unique. It's coming up from volcanic saprolitic lateritic ore types, and we kind of see a lot of magnetite, monazite sand, as well as niobium mixed in with the high-grade titanium. So the project that we staked, there's actually a junior geologist within our team who was doing his PhD at the time, and he said, "Zac, we really need to look at this area of Brazil, which is in the state of Minas Gerais, which is a state of mining in Brazil, one of the states." And he said, "Zac, there's titanium here, we need to look at it." So ended up grabbing some surface samples and uncovered 10,000 ppm of total rare earth oxides and up to 25% titanium dioxide. So we ended up staking a total of approximately 972 square kilometres. Subsequently, we've drilled over 4,000 metres, only covering about 2% of our land holding there. And our average grade for titanium across that 4,000 metres is about 11%. And we see a direct correlation between the titanium with niobium and rare earths. A bit about the titanium market. The titanium market is growing at 6.5% CAGR. It's a critical metal in the US, UK, Europe, Australia and Japan. Ilmenite, rutile and leucoxene are the key components for heavy mineral sands that are predominantly used in paints and pigments, or then ongoing to make the metals that go into aerospace and industrial applications. Ilmenite is probably one of the lowest priced of that heavy mineral sands, that currently markets for about $350 a tonne. The main players in the titanium market is China, Mozambique and Australia, and the major, I guess, operations are owned by Rio Tinto, Equinox Resources, Kenmar, Tronix, as well as Base Resources. And they operate about a 1 million tonne per annum plant, which is basically a concentrator concentrating anywhere from 5% titanium up to 58%. A bit about the project geology in Brazil and what we see. So the cut-off grade in feeding the concentrator is 5% titanium dioxide. But what we're seeing in Brazil, right from surface to about 35 metres, consistent titanium grade. So we see free digging, no waste, zero strip ratio, feeding a concentrator from surface up to 35 metres open pit mining. And consistent grades with high pocket region at about the 15 to 35 metre range. And that's correlated well with niobium as well as rare earths. So what we've done, we've sent 80 kilos from our maiden drilling program to Mineral Technologies in Queensland in Australia. They've done some heavy mineral characterisation, and 85% is total heavy mineral content, which means we're waiting for additional results, which breaks that down to ilmenite, rutile and leucoxene, which is indicated on the microscopes that we've seen. And from that, the slimes component is the residual component, which comprises of the niobium and the rare earths. As part of that, we'll probably look at that stream for potential flotation and recovery of that. But our key at the moment is to extract that heavy mineral sand component, and I'll touch you through a bit about the flow sheet for heavy mineral sands. You basically put the ore into a scrubber, you wash the material, you separate it through cyclones or shaking tables. That goes through magnetic separation to remove the iron, and then you're left with the heavy mineral sand component for shipment. And that's how you concentrate heavy mineral sands from 5% up to 58%. Some preliminary numbers on what a base case could look like for us. So 1 million tonne per annum plant that produces 58% titanium dioxide on the index, feeding the plant 5%. We're working towards a mineral resource of 830 million tonnes, which should be coming out later on this year, with an incentive price of $350 a tonne, all in sustaining an OPEX cost of $180. You're making a good margin on a heavy mineral sands project. Just a snapshot of the team continuing to drill across Brazil. Great team. Brazil is a very unique country, very low cost. The drilling guys there make $500 a month Australian, and the highest paid individual in Brazil is our exploration manager, that's on $75,000 a year Australian. So it's a very low cost jurisdiction, drilling's cheap, great infrastructure. It's backed on an energy grid as well, with hydro, wind and nuclear firming. So it ticks all the boxes when it comes to the right jurisdiction. Next, our Antimony project, which is the world's highest grade antimony project. So antimony, for those that don't know, it's a critical mineral used in solar panels, defense purposes, so it's turned into an alloy that's used on the tips of bullets as well as machinery. It's a high-tech alloy that's used in semiconductors, circuit boards and lighting. One of the main uses is also fire retardants and put in clothing to protect people from fires. So China, as of September last year, ended up putting an export restriction on antimony. The price of antimony shot up from $10,000 a tonne to $56,000 a tonne today. And the main reason why China restricted their exports was they were running out of antimony themselves. And they're militarising China, and they're needing those alloys within China as well. They're sourcing antimony within their own mines, as well as Myanmar, Thailand, Laos and Vietnam. But that's sparked, I guess, the Western world to say, where is our antimony? Because there's not many mines that have antimony at the moment. A bit of a snapshot to the antimony price. The word antimony comes from the Greek word comes together. and antimony always comes with another ore, be it gold, silver, lead, zinc or copper. But the reason why we moved to acquire this project is we haven't found any of that. We actually found pure antimony. It's situated in British Columbia in Canada, surrounding several mining operations, and also north of the US Antimony Corp's smelter in Montana across the US border. There's great infrastructure in place across the project area. There's a rail network that goes to the Port of Vancouver for exports if required, but great infrastructure in place in and around that region. And the reason to acquire the project is I was shown old photos of the Alps Alturas mine that used to operate in the 1920s. The mine at that stage and the company extracted 105 tonnes of antimony at astonishing high-grade antimony. So pure antimony consists in nature at 71.4%, and we got grades, or they got grades back in those times up to 60%. Interestingly, when you come across antimony deposits, like the ones in gold, silver, lead and zinc, they have about concentrations of 5% which need to be concentrated, up to 40 to 50%. What we're seeing at Alturas is we skip a processing step and we don't have to concentrate. We could dig the material up and send it to the smelter. So we ended up mobilising a team to the project, and they got up to 70% rock chip samples in antimony, and quite consistent. So they come along a 1.5 kilometre long shear zone, which hosts the antimony ore. There's an open cut area as part of that, and the old mining attics up to 4 different openings into the old mine. And from the photos below, you could kind of see the pure stibnite and the samples that the team have collected. The reason we haven't kind of moved forward, it is Canada, it is BC, it is snowing, so I'm waiting for the snow to clear in May to mobilise a team. We have a notice of work permit in place, and that notice of work permit allows us the luxury of extracting 10,000 tonnes of ore for metallurgical test work. I'm not interested in the metallurgical test work, I'm just interested in extracting the pure antimony that we see there and then selling it to the market. The price of antimony at 99% is $56,000 a tonne. I'll be happy even if to get a price of $5,000 a tonne for our extraction. As part of that, we'll end up coming back and drilling what we see there with the drill targets. The geologists inform me that based on their current projection, there's about 1 million tonnes of 50% antimony within the Alps Alturas project. We're probably not doing things quick enough in the Western world with permitting and the like, but Canada's starting to get on track, and they've got the critical minerals development team on board to expedite First Nation engagement, which we've done, as well as getting these permits turned over quicker. On Tuesday morning, I was meeting with a mining minister in BC in Canada online to step them through our project and fast track the permitting, and also sent a letter to the Canadian Prime Minister to showcase Canada to him and outline that they have the world's highest grade antimony and they should be jumping on this as soon as possible. So in a snapshot for our Alturas projects, low cost capex, direct shipping. It's an old antimony mine that had 60% SB. We've got a team out there, we've got up to 70%. It's a tier 1 mining jurisdiction, permitting underway, should be approved soon. And then mobilising a team to extract that ore. To be announced next week. We also come across the acquisition of another antimony project in BC that has gold in it, and currently evaluating 5 different antimony projects within the region. So just a parting snapshot of Equinox in general. We've got our Hammersley Iron Ore project, which is going through heritage pathways and working through that. Our rare earth project, we've hit hard rock and monazite sands and continuing to drill there. We've got our titanium project, which we're progressing, and then the Alps Altruis antimony project. Thank you.